There is a place in Bali that most tourists don't get to see. It is hidden just outside of Sanur behind rusted gates and a line of trees. This is an abandoned theme park. Built in the late 1990s, Taman Festival was envisioned as a huge entertainment complex with the dream of expecting thousands of visitors every day. But not long after it opened, the whole thing shut down. And for more than 20 years, it's just been sitting here, slowly being taken back by the jungle. Today, I'm exploring Taman Festival, which is one of Bali's strangest and most unique forgotten sites. All right, so this is Taman Festival. It's just outside of Sanur, and it's only a few minutes away from the beach, but it feels completely different than the rest of Sanur and the rest of Bali. This place opened in the late 1990s, and it was supposed to be this major attraction for Bali. The idea was to build this full entertainment complex with laser shows, with a theater, with a crocodile pit, with a water park. Essentially, it was a huge theme park to bring in visitors, both local and foreign. But it didn't last very long. Depending on who you ask, it was only around for a few years, and then it was left like this. More than 20 years of tropical weather, plants growing through buildings, and everything slowly falling apart. What's interesting, though, is that it hasn't really disappeared. People still come here all the time. Photographers, explorers, graffiti artists, and honestly, just curious visitors who want to see what an abandoned theme park looks like after a couple decades in the jungle. For a place this big, it's surprising how quickly it was abandoned. Taman Festival was built during a period when tourism in Bali was growing quickly, and the developers clearly had big ambitions for it. The park included rides, live shows, animal attractions, and large performance spaces. The idea was to create something closer to an international-style theme park right here in Sanur. But it never really had time to succeed. Depending on who you ask, there are a few different explanations for why it closed. Some people say the Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s caused funding to collapse. Others say that the park simply never attracted enough visitors to sustain something this large. And like a lot of abandoned places, the real answer is probably a mix of things. What's most interesting about this place to me isn't that it was this failed business, but instead that it has lasted and endured for decades after it closed. And now seeing nature move back in is really kind of peaceful and calming and reassuring. One of the most striking things about Taman Festival isn't really the buildings and grounds, but it's how quickly nature has moved back in. Bali's climate is perfect for it. There is heat and humidity and constant rain, which means when a place is left alone long enough, it doesn't stay empty for long. Trees start growing through cracks in the concrete, vines wrap themselves around railings and staircases, and walls slowly disappear under layers of plants and moss. What was once designed to be loud and packed with people now feels quite quiet. Instead of music and crowds, you just hear wind in the trees and birds flying by. It's definitely a really unique and cool experience to see that contrast between nature, between something that is human-made, and then adding in that creative elements to it. Seeing what this place used to be and what it has become, that evolution is quite fascinating. And now I will say it does feel quite different here than when I was here about 7 years ago. They've really started to clear things out, tear some buildings down, empty out some of the jungle. So it doesn't quite feel like it used to in 2019. So who knows how long this place will last. But having the opportunity to see it now is really special. Over time, Taman Festival didn't stay completely forgotten. Instead, it slowly became something else. Like you can see behind me, basically all of the buildings have been covered by graffiti and murals. Some of it is just quick tags, but a lot of it is actually really impressive creative work. So even though the park stopped being used as a theme park in that way, it's still being used in a really interesting, unique way, specifically for creative expression. It's become this kind of open, ever-changing canvas where people can come and leave their mark, and I think that's really beautiful. In a way, maybe that's why this entire place is still standing, because people are still curious about it, people still want to see it, and it still provides this really unique, creative, beautiful experience, whether you're a local or you're a tourist. Bali is usually associated with things like temples and beaches and rice terraces, but places like this help tell a different and more nuanced story about the island. It is a story about ambition and change and how quickly things can shift. Taman Festival was built with the idea that it would become one of Bali's big attractions, but that version of the place only lasted a short time. It's a reminder that landscapes don't stay the same, they change over time. What we build is just a blip. Even something as massive as a theme park can slowly end up transforming and retransforming and returning back to the natural world around it. And maybe that's the most interesting thing, and the only thing that matters here is not learning about why this place shut down, but really understanding why it has persisted and the reasons that it is still here and still this bastion of creative freedom and excellence. Sometimes the most important thing isn't the story of why something was built, but instead it's the story of what something will eventually become.